Hey guys, Coach R here at the Strong DNA. Today I'm going to cover another kettlebell fundamentals exercise. When people talk about the cardio or what they can do for the cardio, in the strength world, usually whatever is more than 5 reps, we consider as a cardio. But sometimes some people are very attached towards their heart rate. I usually look at an exercise that what's the other aspect of the benefit of the exercise, not only as a physical aspect of it, but what's from the physiology aspect of it. And that's where I'm in love with the kettlebell swings. Not that you only generate and develop and get better on power, but the kettlebell swings been tested through the science that has direct effect on the health and the number of the mitochondria if you use the right protocol. Today, I want to teach you how properly, through the correct form, to perform a kettlebell swings. So you're not going to hurt yourself, you're going to get stronger, and you're going to generate more power. So the nature of the kettlebell swing, it's a hinge, all right? So if we consider our movement patterns, all right? One of the movement patterns that we talk about it a lot is a hinge, okay? One of the greatest exercises when you perform with the hinge, it's a deadlift, okay? But let's first cover what's the hinge, what's the deadlift, and then from there we can translate our kettlebell swings, okay? When we're talking about the hinge, I always like to compare it with the squat because visually it's easy to understand. When I'm performing a squat, I have more knee movement and the hip goes straight down, all right? So it's a lot of flexion on my knee, where when I'm doing a hinge, okay, it's a lot of more extending the hip and then minimum, okay, on my knee, okay? So I have a less flexion on my knee. There is an easy way to even you check your hinge. If you consider a 3 line from my knee, from my hip, and on my shoulder, 3 parallel lines, your ideal hinge position will be where the shoulder is above your hip and where the hip is above the knee. What if I turn this to a squat? As you see, my hip and my knee is pretty much, they're becoming in the same line. Whenever you want to perform a deadlift with the kettlebell, make sure you stand where your toes gonna pass the kettlebell, all right? From there, remember, it's a lot of hip and a very little knee. Imagine if there is a wall behind you, okay? You want to touch that wall with your butt. Where if you do the squat, you're not going to touch the wall. So I'm going to push my hip back. I'm going to grab my kettlebell. I'm going to lock my lats. As you see, this is an unlock. This is an engage lock lat. How are you going to do it? Think about if you want to break the kettlebell handle, all right? You want to push it as hard as possible. That will automatically engage your lats. For kettlebell swings, we're taking a step back. There is a standard for this, all right? We call it the foot standard, away. That you have your foot touching the kettlebell, and you have a foot away, foot touching the kettlebell, and you have a foot away. Pretty much you want to get in a position when you're grabbing the kettlebell and you're bending it towards yourself, you're in a comfortable position as of the hip above the knee, and then the shoulder is above the hip position. To break down the exercise, you have to understand the concept of the exercise, all right? Everybody knows what is archery and everybody knows what is bow and arrow. The more you pull the bow back, the arrow will go faster and further. And that's pretty much what we want in a kettlebell swing. If the bell is over here, in translation, that means the arrow is here. If I let it go, it's pretty much gonna fall in front of me. To translate the same concept, I want you guys to picture, to have this more pulled back, I need to have the bell more higher. So if you check this triangle here, that's pretty much where I want my kettlebell. Obviously more higher and close to my groin, that's pretty much the end position of my bow and arrow. From here, I'm grabbing the kettlebell. Look at my lats, all engaged. My shoulder is above my hip above the knee. I'm just gonna drop the bell towards my groin and back from where it is. Okay? This is just a practice to understand you're not gonna be here You're not gonna be here. You're keeping your arms straight, and that's where the bell moves. After you master that, then from there is how I can transfer from my complete hinge position to full up extended position. Top of the kettlebell swing is a plank. That means every standard that we have on the plank, it will translate to the kettlebell swings. That means on my top of the swing, my ears, my shoulders, my hip, my knee, my heel, ankle, everything is neutral. My glutes are squeezed. My rib cage and pelvis are connected, abs are engaged. There is no shrugging. Chest is in front of me. Exhaling out and holding this position. That's where the performance of kettlebell swing comes. It transfers and translated from the plank with the load more in a ballistic form. So first thing first again, I'm gonna get that measurement of the foot. I'm gonna get away from my kettlebell. I'm gonna practice my hinge while I wanna reach to my kettlebell. I'm cutting my hip, karate chop, pushing my hip back towards the wall behind me, which is pretty much, if you do it right, you're gonna feel your hamstrings are kind of calling you, all right? My shins stays vertical. If you drop this down, you're already kind of going in a semi-squat. That means you're kind of gonna start using your quads, which is kind of gonna shut down the hammies, which we don't want that, all right? So push it back, grab the bell, bend it, lats are engaged, eyes 6 foot in front of you. One bike, one swing, and park. This is your next step. Don't forget, kettlebell swing, the whole power comes from the hip, not arms. Arm just to hold and anchor for the kettlebell. For that aspect, use a towel, all right? Grab a towel, fold it over, and go around your bell. What I recommend to do, just lift it up and try to do a hinge, and with your hip motion, try to swing the bell. If you have a mirror, you can get a feedback from a mirror because you want the bell stays on that triangle. And as I lock my hip harder and stronger, the bell flies up. And this is another great way to understand where the hip power comes from, okay? Since you're using a lightweight, but it will make more sense because you're not gonna drive it with your arms when you have the towel. One thing that we're gonna add right now, it's your biomechanical breathing. The biomechanical breathing is when you lock your hip, that's where your exhale comes, okay? I highly recommend, again, before you grab the weight, you practice a hinge to a lock and exhale at the same time. The exhale usually comes with the sound of a tss. What we don't want to see. You see the difference? We're gonna put all this together and then let's see, is your kettlebell swing is gonna look like this or not? Okay, I'm gonna perform 5 swings. I'm gonna start from a foot away from my bell, push my hip back, grab the kettlebell, my my shoulder is above my hip is above my knee, arms are straight, locking it, lats are engaged, eyes 6 foot in front of me. That means I have a neutral spine and a neck. From here, driving the bell towards my groin and go. And park. And that's how kettlebell swing works. One of the best great exercises to build the strength, power, cardio, and all the good other stuff.
I want to thank you all for watching this video. If you're around Los Angeles, close to me, please make sure to stop by at the Strong DNA. If not, make sure you hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel so you get updated on the new tutorial and educational stuff regarding the fitness and human health.